You ever get that gnawing feeling that someone is out to get you over the smallest, pettiest thing? That's exactly where my story begins, with a trash can. Yes, you heard me right. A plain old city-issued trash can. I never imagined that this little container would spark one of the strangest and most frustrating battles of my life. But when Karen from down the street decided to make it her personal mission to knock mine over every chance she got, things quickly spiraled out of control. It started subtly at first. I'd wake up on trash collection day, step outside to grab my morning paper, and there it was. My trash can tipped over, contents spilling across my driveway. At first, I chalked it up to wind, maybe even raccoons, but the timing was too perfect. Every single week, without fail, the can was on its side, and the garbage men never left it that way. The real kicker came one Tuesday morning when I left for work a little earlier than usual. I turned onto the street, and that's when I caught her, Karen, the self-appointed HOA enforcer, marching past my driveway with her little dog in tow. She gave a quick glance around, thought no one was watching, and with one swift push of her foot, she sent my trash can tumbling into the road. Then she kept walking like nothing happened. My jaw nearly hit the floor. Who does that? I wanted to jump out of the car right there and call her out, but I held back. If there's one thing I've learned dealing with neighbors like her, it's that you can't let your emotions take the wheel. You need proof, and you need a plan. That night, I sat at my kitchen table fuming. The image of her smug little grin as she strutted away kept replaying in my head. I thought about confronting her directly, but Karen was notorious in our neighborhood for twisting stories and crying victim anytime someone challenged her. No, I needed something better. I needed undeniable evidence that would show everyone exactly what she was doing. So, I decided to set a trap. Not a physical one at first, but a clever little plan that would make sure her petty games came back to bite her. If she wanted to keep playing this ridiculous trash can game, I was going to make sure she never saw what was coming. And trust me, the first step of my plan was going to catch her red-handed in a way she couldn't weasel out of. The very next morning, I drove straight to the hardware store. My cart looked like something out of a spy movie, a motion-activated camera, a pack of batteries, and a memory card with more storage than I'd ever need. If Karen wanted to keep playing games, I was about to record every single one of her moves. When I got home, I carefully positioned the camera in the bushes near my driveway, angled perfectly toward the trash can. It was small, discreet, and impossible to notice unless you were really looking for it. The setup made me feel like a detective preparing for a sting operation. For the first time since this nonsense started, I felt in control. Trash day rolled around again. I woke up early, poured myself a cup of coffee, and sat by the window with a clear view of the street. My heart raced like I was waiting for some big reveal. Sure enough, just after sunrise, there she came, Karen, strutting down the sidewalk with her little dog tugging at the leash. She glanced around casually, her eyes darting from house to house. Then, with a quick nudge of her foot, she toppled my trash can over again. Garbage spilled across the driveway, papers fluttering in the breeze. I clenched my fists but stayed put. Instead of storming outside, I smiled. The camera had captured every second. Later that evening, I pulled out the memory card and loaded the footage onto my laptop. There it was, crystal clear, evidence of Karen pushing over my trash can like it was her personal sport. She didn't even look ashamed. She looked proud. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. After weeks of frustration, finally, I had her caught in the act. But here's where it gets interesting. I didn't just want to show the footage to the HOA or the police. No, I wanted to teach her a lesson she'd never forget, something that would make her think twice before ever messing with me or anyone else again. That's when inspiration struck. I realized the best trap isn't just about catching someone. It's about turning their own behavior back on them in a way they can't ignore. So, I started sketching out my plan. It was bold, maybe a little risky, but if it worked, it would be poetic justice. My trash can wasn't just going to be a victim anymore. It was about to become the star of a neighborhood showdown Karen would never see coming. The night before trash day, I put my plan into motion. First, I wheeled my can out to the driveway as usual. But this time, it wasn't just a can full of garbage. It was bait. Inside, I placed a small sack of flour right on top of the bags. I rigged the lid so it would tip forward with the slightest push, sending the flour bursting outward like a powdery explosion. It wasn't dangerous, but it would make one heck of a mess. Then I adjusted the hidden camera so it had the perfect angle. I wanted every second captured, the look on her face the exact moment karma caught up with her. After double-checking everything, I went inside, barely able to sleep from the anticipation. Morning came, and I sat at the window again, coffee in hand, waiting like a hunter in a blind. The neighborhood was quiet, birds chirping, sprinklers hissing across lawns. Then, right on schedule, here came Karen. Her dog trotted happily, completely unaware of the storm about to hit. She paused at the end of my driveway, scanning left and right like a thief about to strike. Then, with her signature move, she gave my trash can a shove. The lid popped forward, and in an instant, poof. A cloud of flour burst into the air, coating Karen from head to toe. Her shriek echoed down the street as she stumbled backward, coughing and waving her hands wildly. Her little dog barked like crazy, tugging at the leash while she looked like a ghost straight out of a Halloween party. I had to slap my hand over my mouth to keep from laughing too loudly. The camera captured everything, every flailing arm, every furious stomp of her flour-covered shoes. It was glorious. Karen spun around, glaring at my house with eyes full of rage. She knew I had something to do with it, but she couldn't prove a thing. After all, it was just my trash can sitting on my driveway. She stomped off, covered in white powder, dragging her yapping dog behind her like a scene from a slapstick comedy. Later that night, I replayed the footage over and over, laughing until tears streamed down my face. The once smug queen of the HOA had been reduced to a flustered mess in broad daylight. And the best part? She had no idea I had it all on video. Still, I knew Karen well enough to realize she wasn't going to let this slide. No, this was just the beginning. And sure enough, within days, she came back with a vengeance. For a few days after the flour incident, Karen kept a low profile. I figured she was too embarrassed to show her face around the neighborhood. But just when I started to relax, she came storming back with a new plan. And this time, she wasn't subtle. One Saturday afternoon, I heard a knock at my door. When I opened it, there she was, arms crossed, lips pursed, still fuming like a kettle about to boil over. She didn't waste a second before launching into her tirade. "You think you're clever, don't you?" she hissed, setting traps, humiliating me in front of the entire neighborhood. "I'm reporting you to the HOA for harassment." I calmly leaned against the doorframe and let her rant. She accused me of everything from endangering her dog to weaponizing household waste. Honestly, I was impressed with her creativity. But when she finally demanded that I pay her cleaning bill, I almost burst out laughing. "Karen," I said evenly, "do you really want to push this? Because I've got footage of you knocking my trash can over every single week." For the first time, I saw her confidence crack. Her eyes widened, and that smug smile faltered. She tried to backpedal, muttering something about just taking a walk and accidents happen, but it was too late. The truth was out, and she knew it. I didn't stop there. The next day, I emailed the HOA board the video evidence, clear as day, Karen shoving my trash can like it was her personal hobby. I attached a short note: "If Karen continues harassing me, I'll be sending this to the entire neighborhood." The response was swift. The HOA president called me personally, apologizing for Karen's behavior and assuring me it would be handled internally. Word must have spread quickly because by the end of the week, Karen couldn't step outside without neighbors giving her side eye and whispering behind their hands. She never knocked over my trash can again. In fact, she avoided my side of the street altogether, like my driveway was cursed. My trash can stood tall and untouched every week, a quiet monument to the day Karen finally got what she deserved. Looking back, the whole ordeal still feels surreal. All that drama, all that chaos over a trash can. But sometimes the smallest battles teach the biggest lessons. Don't let bullies push you around, even in the pettiest ways. And if you're clever enough, sometimes you can turn the tables so perfectly that your enemy ends up trapping themselves. And as for Karen, well, let's just say she never saw it coming. And that's how it all went down with Karen and her trash can drama. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more crazy HOA battles and neighborhood showdowns, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop a comment sharing what you would have done if Karen tried this on you. Your support helps keep these stories coming.